season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
It is well known that diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure, and other illnesses may restrict blood flow, which can lead to impotence and erectile dysfunction. This is why Enhance was formulated to meet these challenging health problems, which can reduce your ability to perform. If you're having problems maintaining your manhood, then reclaim your manhood today with Enhance. Enhance increases your energy level, boosts your stamina, and increases your endurance.
You can get your Enhance at Southwell VA4, Restorer Pharmacy Soufre, Knights Med Miku, Lay by Bar The Morn, Dexter's Place Jeremy Street Castries, Citygate Bar The City opposite the market, Plants Place Denry Highway, Arlette Supermarket Soufre, The Release Stress Bar Labrie Highway, Cool Joint Bar Victoria Schwazel, Prios Bus Stop 22, next to the Moshi Bus Stop opposite the Grosley Bus Stop. Prios Bar and Grill in Corinth, Grosley.
Enhance, the best a man can get.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
To you, everyone. It is the second day of July 2025. Welcome once again to The Real Issues with me, Shelton Daniel, alongside my friend and co-host Terry Fenelon and our technical operator Alton Jaquan Joseph. I hope you're having a good day so far and a good week indeed. The first couple of days into the 7th month, meaning the second half of the year, is underway, the month of July. Let's hope it will be as good as June generally has been to us in terms of so many things, but knowing that we're in the hurricane season, I think we've had it mild and gentle so far. Let's just hope that this continues. Don't know too much about, the overall climate situation. There was a day that I was driving and I kept spraying my windscreen with water, the little button that you get the water windshield wiper. And kept spraying because I find it's looking like, it's kind of fuzzy, as we would say, not looking as crystal clear as I would have expected it to be, but like the water wasn't working. And it took a little while for me to realize it wasn't the windshield, it was just the general dusty condition in the atmosphere, Sahara dust or whatever. We've been hearing quite a lot about it. That it was just one of those hazy days, and that was what was affecting. Now, lately, I've been encountering a lot of people, not only in St. Lucia, but outside, who complain a lot about, some vague feelings of illness, and if it's not pains. I heard this weird thing about the moving pains. A pain you feel up here under your breastbone or by your solar plexus. Next time you feel it a little lower, another time it goes to the right side. Another time, I'm not like those who believe that it's gas. The places that people say gas goes and so on. If gas could leak, I'm assuming from your stomach into your chest cavity and into your neck and into your head to give you a headache, you probably would be dead. These are places where gas, especially the gas is caused by fermentation of your stomach and so on, ought not to get to. But, probably nerve pains, nerve irritations. And then sometimes the nerve is wired or connected. It is what they call referred pain in another area. And it's all. But people have been complaining about some weird symptoms that they cannot link to any ailment that they have. They go and do tests and they don't find anything. And it was only last night that I got up at some point, to, I think maybe go use the bathroom or check on something else, me and my little insomnia habit and so on. And then I began to feel stuffy, like, something is blocking my nose and I'm sneezing, irritated and so on. And it's only then I realized that there's a higher than usual level of dust, in the air. And probably this is the time where it peaks, etc., and the irritation. So maybe if you have some strange symptoms of sinus and stuffiness and congestion, perhaps you probably, if there's anything you can do about filtering dust and avoiding it and so on, maybe you might consider and do well, to look into that aspect of it. Just some thoughts that came to my mind. Folks, those of us who are politically conscious and politically active and politically impassioned, like I think I can speak for Terry and say we are like that, we have strong convictions, and I think you can hear it when we speak, the passion in our voices and so on. We consider ourselves to be soldiers, as do many, many, many other people. But I want to say this in being a soldier, whether for the Labour Party or for any other party or for any cause. Not all soldiering is of the aggressive, combative type. Sometimes there is the soldiering based on the personality, based on the situation, based on what you're responding to, the circumstance. It calls for being a combative type of soldier or adopting a combative stance on things. But there is also the side of soldiering, which is what I call persuasive. The type that reasons with people and that tries to win people over and that tries to bring people across. And sometimes that diplomatic approach to the politics is better than being combative, than telling people how they're stupid and how they're brainless and how they this. You do that and you'll put off many people. And let me tell you this. In a tight election, which is always possible after any party has won the government for the first term, sometimes you're surprised you win 15 seats, and next election come, you lose 6, and so you barely hold on to government by 9. I'm not saying this will happen. I'm not saying that's what I want to happen. But sometimes all it takes is 5 votes, 10 votes, 15 votes, 30 votes or less to save the day. And so once you see you are finishing the first term of your government, at times it pays to temper and tamp down and modify and moderate, the combative side of the politics. You should be doing it at all times based upon different people, because sometimes it is the undecided. It is those who are on the fence. It is the other category of political person, which I call the passive, that you have to make them become active in making up their minds, in making a decision, in committing themselves to something. So I just want to ask you, I just want to encourage you to pay attention to these three phases or types of political activism and political passion, if they can all be called that: the combative, the persuasive, and the passive, and how we should interact with them. Now, you're not going to find that, I don't think, in any political science textbook. I know I didn't read it anywhere or get it from anywhere. It's just something that came from my mind. Do I always need to be combative? Do I always need to be, a different kind of way, sometimes persuasive? And know that there are a lot of people who support you and those who are against you, but they're very passive. Some people, you'll never know where they stand on anything. They might be there and you might think they're with you and they're not. Or you might think they're against you and they're not either. All right, so just keep that in mind. Recent killings we've been hearing about, I think in the past few days or so, 3 young men have been shot dead. At least 3 young men, one of them very disturbing, an 18-year-old who not long left school, had his whole life ahead of him, and everybody's talking they didn't know him to be involved in anything that would make someone want to target him. People, last night, when I got up, I told you, and I felt this stuffiness. I decided to go just to take a look outside, to see how things stand, because in coming in, I had a bag of shopping that involved some meat and so on. And I said, okay, a human being can get in, but what if a cat gets in and it smells, my turkey wings and decides to go and chew on it and so on. So I decided I couldn't carry it down. I had other things carrying at the time. So I decided to take a look outside through the garage gate, and I heard what sounded like a volley of shots coming from the direction, the orientation. I would say George V Park extending into Georgeville, that's the area at the back there and so on. That side of it, Upper Chaussee area and so on, the joining of Darling Road. So those settlements in that area, I heard what seemed to be quite a few shots fired. But I thought I would have heard something this morning, so maybe some people were just having fun, maybe it wasn't shots, whatever. But it is disturbing, but here's what I find. Despite people seeing all those killings taking place, many of them we don't know why, we don't know what's the motive, why it's done, because a lot of times the people are not caught. I just don't understand how people are still so aggressive. It's so easy for somebody to kill somebody, to stab them, to shoot them and so on, but I still find people are demonstrating what I consider to be unnecessary and excessive aggression in their interactions with other people. Now, I'm not saying because somebody can kill you should allow or take anything and don't stand up for yourself and be what we say, assertive and so on. But I just wonder the kind of aggression people are showing. I was on a line at a supermarket and a young man was behind me, and the young man keeps pushing his trolley as if he wants to hit me with the trolley. And I'm wondering, what for? Now, I'm very touchy about people pushing, I may have told you that before, pushing trolleys right up against me, because I remember it's a good few years where they had just come, how they'd call it, Big J down at Cul-de-Sac. I was there inside. And there's a lady who insisted on pushing her trolley close behind me until I think her attention swayed, or maybe she did it deliberately and slammed that trolley into the back, of my heel and so on. And I tell you, it was a hard hit. She apologized profusely, but it was painful. And since that time, I just don't want people coming right up to me with trolley and this sort of thing. So I kept on pulling away from him. Every time I pulled away from him, he would come a little closer. At the time I held my hand out to show him, just pause. That's way too close. And I saw he insisted on doing it. I passed the person who was in front of me and I went and positioned myself where the bagger stands. I stood next to the bagger. The guy is still pushing the trolley. He's not at his turn. He's not yet checking, His turn to check has not come because the person ahead of me is checking. I am yet to check, but he's pushing it. I went to the other side of the bagger. The guy pushed the trolley around the bagger and angled it towards me. I got my thing and I got out of there. And I said, this is an instance of aggression. Just to show me, you have a problem with it, so I'm doing it deliberately. But you know what I always say to people like that? It ain't always going to be gentle soul, docile, turn the other cheek, walk away, Shelton Daniel. You're going to meet. And many of you, maybe you all meet people like me, who have a sense of law-abidingness, who have a sense of civility, of restraint and so on, of Christian, don't retaliate kind of thing about me. You all end up meeting people who are more than your match. Because why else do we find people who don't want to give people space around them? We went through the COVID pandemic. If it was not part of a culture, we should have learned it. Give people a little space so that if they have to take a step back or push their hand in their back pocket to take something, that their elbow ain't hitting you and so on. We're too much all up into each other, and so on. I just find there's too much of that, in our country. So I don't know. The aggression baffles me because to me there's enough example for people to learn from. That munka motto is it. Munka motto of it. Do but see me say gren sa epi lot mun. But the more I see it continue. So you never know how it goes. Now, anytime Terry is there, I always feel a little guilty when I'm talking here. But Shelton will always be Shelton. Yeah, but the rest of the program, I give you that, okay? Well, there's a word called bellwether. I'm sure many of you know what that word means. If we say that this is a bellwether constituency, what we mean is that the bellwether is an indicator or predictor of something, a result, a trend, how something will move. So if you say this is a bellwether constituency, you can say that if this constituency is won by this party, it most likely will win the general election and go on to form the government. As of now, I would say we have 2 bellwether constituencies. Now, it doesn't mean because they are bellwether that there have never been exceptions to that rule, that in their history, it has never been a case where the seat has been won or lost, and the party that won or lost it did not go on, went on or did not go on to form the election. And the 2 constituencies that I want to suggest are bellwether constituencies. And attention needs to be paid to them because any mistake or miscalculation in them can cost dearly in terms of costing the government or costing an election and so on. And they are, the first one, Babono, and the second one, Castries Southeast. And I'll explain what I mean. Now, like I said, there are, in each of them, at least one instance of exception to that. Let's deal with Babono first. Except for 1979, when Labour Party won the general elections. And by the way, today is the anniversary date of when the Labour Party won that election, July the 2nd, 1979. That's when they went to the polls and they won 12-5. All right? The 5 seats that UWP held on to were Babono, which was at the time called Castries, Northwest Babono, Central Castries, all right? That's another one that they held on to. They held on to the 2 Mikus, Miku North and Miku South, all right? And Central, I said Central Castries already, all right? So there was Babono, there was Central Castries, there was Miku North, Miku South, and the other one doesn't really come to my mind, but yeah, I think you get the point. It's not necessary that I get it all right. Labour Party won the elections, 12-5. Alan Buske held on to Babono. Albeit he was in opposition for only a half term, really. A term it is, anyway. From one election to the next is a term. But it was only 2.5 years. So on that instance, the bellwether trend was broken. But after that, UWP returned to power in 1982. On May the 3rd, 1982, with a thumping 14-3 majority. Alan Buske stayed in the parliament unbeaten. He won back in 1982. He won in 1987, 2 elections, right? He won in 1992 and he decided he wasn't running again in 1997, which is when Labour Party won that seat. But apart from that, the trend was whoever held Babono, they held the government, except for that 79 to 82 period, which you can consider to have been an anomaly. All right, Kenneth John won that seat in 1997. Labour Party won the government. Kenneth John passed away. Michael Gasper won it, in 1998 after Kenneth John's passing, and Labour Party won the government. Felix Finisterre came in 2001. He won it. The Labour Party won it. He lost it In 2006, Labour Party lost the government. Whoever has held Babuno, except for the 79 to 82 period, has won the government. Let's look at Castries Southeast, which is another one that is even more instructive. We need to watch it. But the point I want to make, if Babuno is lost, or if Babuno is on the road to being lost, if Babuno there is a possibility of it being lost, we need to scratch our heads and begin to see what needs to be done and do it. Because if Babuno is lost, it may well be that the government is lost again to the Labour Party. Castries Southeast. You know, there is only one man who has held on to that seat and his party lost the general elections. Yeah? Only one man, you know. His name is Guy Eardley Joseph. Only he has run for Castries Southeast. His party lost the election, but he held on to that seat. Folks, I'm making the point. Whatever you think of Guy Joseph, you have to consider him a formidable politician. Not an easy man to beat. He was beaten in 2001, but many people say it was a swing election. I don't know. But he held on to that seat. Apart from that, Harold in Rock won that seat, UW won the election. George Odlum won that seat in 79, SLP won the election. Clarence from Bali, a Labour man who ran for UWP in 1982, all right? And he later told me, as he said to, I'm sure, others, that the reason he ran for UWP was that was the only assurance he had that he would have won the seat, and he wanted to make sure George Odlum did not return. George Odlum was duly punished for what he did in that power struggle and all to bring about. Clarence from Bali did not run again in 1987. Gregory Avril came. Avril won the elections, both of them. Avril won again in 1992, and he had vowed that he was going to run for no more than 2 terms. One of the few politicians who tell you, I'm staying for 2 terms and no more, Gregory Avril. He ran for 2 terms. He didn't run in 1997. And, you know, Menisa Rambali came on the scene. She won 2 elections. The Labour Party was in power for both terms that she was there. She lost in 2006. Labour Party lost. Guy Joseph came in. He won. EWP won. And he is the only man who his party lost the government. They were defeated in the general election, but he held it. These 2 seats have to be watched very closely. The trends in them, the situation, things that develop, the developments in those constituencies, they can say quite a lot. Oh, these are just something I just wanted to draw. I'll say no more. I don't need to make any more commentary on them. But I think these 2 bellwether constituencies, they have to be watched very closely. And the behavior of people in them matters quite a lot, because they can determine the way a general election goes, who gets into government, who stays into government, and so on. Terry, yours. Take it away.
Very good, Shelton. I won't add to this. I think that is clear. Well, we just have a few minutes before, so let me extend. I'm dressed in black today because I'm going to be joining one of my former colleagues who is laying his father to rest today.
Okay, okay.
That's the Ochilien family.
I was afraid you'd say that is the father you will be joining. And so
No, not yet.
Okay.
So Mr.
Ochilien family from?
The Ochilien family from Grand Riviere.
Okay.
Jonas Ochilien. Well, we talked together for a while. We were colleagues for a long time.
I thought it would have been related to the former fire. So
Yeah. The Ochilien, Okulien, all of them.
Hilton,
I think that Hilton, Okulien, Ochilien, this. Yeah. So to the Ochilien family, you laying your father to rest. I'm calling Bobra, as far as I know, Bobra. All different names. So we'll be laying him to rest. Shelton, I think we need to shout out all the students who did well at the CPEA.
Certainly.
I mean, this is grand time. Our students did well. My granddaughter, she wrote, she's successful. Hannah, proud of you. You did your best, and that's all Bampa asked for, that you did your best, and we'll be supporting you for the next 5 years. Your cousin, Amaris, you also did very well. But my good friend, I must not touch you, Sheldon. My good friend, the Bushells, Charlie Bushell. I had this picture, but yesterday we got sidetracked. We have to apologize for yesterday. He came third on the island, that's Isaiah. I need to pronounce his name well. Kai. So congratulations to all of you. And all the others who performed well. I understand results were a little remarkable. Went up in most subject areas, mathematics, except English. I heard there was a little dip. But you did well. And the next 5 years, we'll be monitoring you to ensure that you put your best foot forward. And most of you, if not all, will make it to Sir Arthur Lewis Community College in one of the divisions to continue your education. Education is big, Shelton?
It is.
Education is big. Remember that. This is how you develop your human resource through education. And Shelton, I don't know, the past few days from Saturday to now, I've been scratching my head as to the arrogant display of ignorance that I have seen. I want to use that again. It came from a doctor friend of mine from Beaufort. He says, man, Terry, he has never seen such an arrogant display of ignorance in a country. Now, you know what he was referring to? The visit of the Nigerian president of our country.
Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
Yes, and I couldn't understand why people adopt. Well, I can. A certain side took a certain position, and people mindlessly just followed the side.
This is what I find weird about the United Workers' Party.
Side.
Even when they are supposedly intelligent, educated, enlightened people, conscious people, it's like nobody seems to have the courage and the confidence to come forward and to be a moderating voice on that kind of thing. What I'm seeing here is something I have spoken at no short length on this program, Terry. It is called internalized racism. It is when the people of a particular race, in this case black people, are the ones who are turning in effect on themselves by disparaging other black people for being black people. And you have enough racism being directed against you from other races, especially from white people, Europeans and so on. And when black people have so much self-denigration about them, they are so self-deprecating that they turn on a visit by a foreign head of state for no other reason but that he's African and that he's black. You understand?
That's right.
And then nobody acts as the voice of moderation. Now, Alan Chastney has shown us enough. And
yes,
they hate it when we talk about racism. When you point it out.
Yes.
Alan is racist. But Alan has done nothing to redeem himself from that allegation. But when you find his party doing that, and at no time does he as leader come and say, I do not share those views, or anybody else in the party, it makes you wonder. They seem to be caught in the grip of that internalized racism.
But Shelton, what really struck me, man, is that a candidate who is credentialed, a foreign affairs expert, so to speak, reading this press release, I'm like, no, man. Shelton, I was stumped. I was stupefied. I did not expect that from Mr. Favre. He was like a lackey. You worked in a foreign office, supposedly a diplomat. And Sheldon, you're right. You should have told your party, man, we're not going down that road.
Yes.
You should have been able to stand. That's another Bradley there. No spine. You should have been able to stand up to your your side, your leader, and says, "Nah, man, I'm not doing that. We're not putting out that statement."
These are the times when leadership matters and we don't see it on display.
I'm like, wow, man, come on. There comes a time when you have to stand up for what is right. Nigeria is, Shelton, one of the largest economies in Africa. Oil rich.
Imagine Nigeria has a population almost
equal to the size of
United
States of America, 230 something million people.
I think Nigeria is already at 300 million people.
And a foreign head of state who comes in, look, Modi, the Prime Minister of India, is going to Trinidad tomorrow.
Yes,
And listen to that, he's going to be landing in Trinidad tomorrow, and there's going to be a partial shutdown of the country. The airport was already closed for an hour, People made they're closing on the airport. Partially true.
That's if they did not shut down because there were no really flights.
Yes, that was arranged properly. People made a hue and cry about shutting on the airport so that we host the man with all the trappings that he deserved.
Yeah.
You understand?
all
People-
kind of things about corruption
and thing,
allegations. You think there are corruption allegations against Modi? But worst of all, you have a man who's president of the United States who's a multiple convicted felon
yes.
on so many different counts of thing and so on. Yet he's president of the United States. So if he were to come here,
but he's going to train that tomorrow. And listen to that. Partial shutdown. Schools are closed. Non-essential businesses closed. You have to clear the road. You understand? The country. No, I have listened to I've tried to follow the Trinidad press, and nobody is saying, why are you doing that? Oh, it's a small country, blah, 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 blah. Airport was just closed for 1 hour. The ceremonial thing had to go on. Then he was conferred with a, I'll read it, because I'm just trying to buy up time for the break. When Modi lands in Trinidad, he's going to be given the highest honor that can be bestowed upon somebody, You understand? I forgot it, the Trinidad. It's not the Trinidad Cross, but I'll get it in a while. So the partial shutdown of the country, and Modi is going to be given, hey, we give now you can only use so when it's in St. Lucia, That's so. And people, as though, we have done something so corrupt. Are we mad? How can we be disappointed about the president? Yeah, he's the president of a country. And we can bestow that honor upon him. You understand? So, according to my doctor friend he could not understand this. I mean, when you don't know something, Shelton, you shut up. Or you seek information. You call. I mean, if you're going to be a talk show host advertising a particular thing, you ought to prepare yourself. Do some research. Make a call. But you're just going to have people calling free fall, and you cannot guide the discussion in any particular way because you yourself, you are empty and you are ignorant of the facts. But we're going to share a little. I'm going to read something from some people who are very cerebral, very cogent, very critical thinkers. And we're going to see people, we ought not to behave that way. This was despicable. We ought to have been gracious hosts. Because when the president of Nigeria leaves there, you know where he's going to? Brazil. That's where he's heading to, Brazil. He's heading to Brazil. And he'll be welcome with all the trappings, that befit a head of state. When our prime minister visits countries, he's given the trappings too. You understand? So I could not understand. I mean, not because your side has taken a position that you just mindlessly follow. Displaying your ignorance. And you are so proud to let the world know that you're ignorant and stupid. I'm sorry that I have to use those words, but that is what it is. It was a pathetic display.
It sounded so racist to me,
man. It was so pathetic.
We've had other heads of state visited St. Lucia. Don't the people realize that Vatican is a state? Vatican City is a state. The Pope has come here,
And when he comes there, we have to give him. He's not just the head of a religious organization. He's the head of and you have to give him everything that is due to a visiting head of state. So he's both the head of a religious organization and a head of state. We have to treat him properly. So you're going to say, the Vatican, there was a sex scandal, and they did. Come on, people. We have to do better than that. And we put on our...
This is Nigeria, part of our ancestral home, of Africa and so on.
Jeez, man. I could... Shelton...
The top economy, if not...
one of the top four economies in Africa.
Maybe only South Africa has a higher GDP than Nigeria and so on, Nigeria is not just about oil. Nigeria is a place with ports and rivers and lakes and mountains and vast expanses of land and, in agriculture and those things. I know the oil probably is what makes you a lot very famous. Like Guyana, people will know Guyana mostly for the oil. But do you know Guyana is the only country in the world that's entirely self-sufficient in food?
Food production, food security.
So what,
they have that?
We hosted the president of Guyana here, didn't we?
Oh, man. I mean, Shelton, I think we do for the break. And afterwards, we might read some stuff. Sticking to Nigeria and stuff. Because really and truly, solutions, some of you, not all, you really, that kind of behavior, and you're on Facebook talking all kinds of crap. You don't know anything about anything, but you display your ignorance for the entire world to see. That was pathetic.
The Real Issues powered by Blue Waters will be back shortly, and it'll be all Terry when we do. I promise you.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Thank you
The man, the voice.
By Blue Waters on this Wednesday, the 2nd of July, 2025, with me, Shelton Daniel and Terry Fennell. Our program, as you know, airs weekdays from 12:30 until 2 p.m. on the radio station Real FM, serving you on the dual frequencies 91.3 for the north, 91.5 for the south. We are also simulcasting on NBC Television, channel 120 on the Flow Cable TV service. We're on Facebook Live and on YouTube live streaming. Terry Fennell.
Yes, Shelton, for yesterday we have to make up, so we have to open the lines a little earlier. But allow me to read something from somebody who's very cerebral, somebody I admire a lot. I mean, I was at school with him. I knew him very well. Dr. Jimmy Fletcher. So, Jaquan, you can put it up. You know, people who can step back, think critically, and guide us, because we have to make use of the best brains, you know. I mean, when I say the best brains, I'm using that, you know, in the way, because Jimmy has distinguished himself. I may not always agree with him on everything he says, you understand? But he's a critical thinker. And he wrote, strengthening South-South. Oh, people are messaging me on my phone that I'm using there. I must remember to use the other phone for this kind of stuff. Strengthening South-South relations. You have that, Jaquan? It's up? All right, Jaquan has not given me the thumbs up yet. I don't want to start without you. It's up yet, Jaquan? Okay, 1 minute. All right, so I'll go ahead. The official visit of His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to St. Lucia, marks more than a symbolic diplomatic gesture. It represents a bold and strategic step forward in St. Lucia's foreign policy. In today's increasingly uncertain and polarized geopolitical landscape, small island development states like ours must not remain passive observers. We must actively shape our own future by forging deeper ties with nations that share our history, values, culture, and aspirations. Nigeria is Africa's most populous nation and is a rising continental power. Therefore, it represents a natural and vital partner in this effort. The visit lays the groundwork for stronger political, cultural, and economic cooperation between St. Lucia and Nigeria, two countries that are connected not only by the Atlantic Ocean, but by the deep roots of African heritage, resilience, and a shared vision for inclusive development and self-determination. It is time for our country to deliberately strengthen South-South cooperation, aligning with fellow nations in the global South that understand our struggles with climate vulnerability, development financing, food security, and legacies of colonialism. These alliances must become central pillars in our foreign policy, not as a rejection of our long-standing partnerships with countries in the global north, but as a necessary broadening of our engagement with the world. St. Lucia can and must walk confidently on both legs, maintaining respectful and productive ties with our traditional partners, while cultivating new and dynamic relationships with countries like Nigeria, Brazil, Ghana, South Africa, India, and others in the global South who share our commitment to justice, equity, and sustainable development. This is not just diplomacy. It is a strategy for resilience, self-respect, and global relevance. Kudos to the government of St. Lucia for taking this important first step. This is by Dr. Jimmy Fletcher. It's not from my brain. My brain is not that good. Very cerebral man. And for those of you who want it, I can make it available to you. I have it. It's on Facebook. I think I posted it on Facebook. I'm not sure. But this gives us an understanding of why it is that we must forge these kinds of alliances. And when your side I mean, the side, but you know the leader of the side was present for the joint sitting. He couldn't clap. Well, he did, I guess. He stuck out like a sore thumb because he really didn't want to be there. He had no choice. But we have to forge. And when forge these alliances, and when your side can tell you, man, let's, this and that, and Mr. Tinubu is this and that. Well, in any court of law, if you want to see corruption, I will show you corruption, because yesterday I came prepared to show you the kind of corruption that you all should be talking about, Pajor letters and all, the silting of the dam. But we have time to discuss that next week. I may not join Shelton tomorrow because, it's graduation season and I've been invited to, so I don't want to be rushing. But we'll talk about that because you all want to talk about corruption. Corruption right here, 2016 to 2021. You forgetting that? So, we have that. Now let's take another one before we open the line, Shelton. This one is from, when you don't know, you call. So a diplomat sent this in. Is it at the top? Let me get that one. Yes. People certainly do not understand. You have this one? I have Shelton under pressure because I sent this in yesterday. And sometimes it takes a while to download and to upload. So I'll read it. Sure. This came from the diplomatic corps, because some people don't know. And people, when you don't know something, don't go on Facebook and show your ignorance and just spouting nonsense. Ask questions, make a call, find out what it is. All right? I have this on Facebook too, because we need to educate ourselves. I'm not here as a hammer to nail you. We're here to educate you and tell you stop spouting things you don't know. When you don't, it's okay not to know. Because I'm ignorant of a lot of things. But when I want to find out something, I make a call, I research, I ask questions. And my ignorance is usually rearranged. And that is how you must, that's the kind of posture you must adopt. You mustn't just follow a side because you support the side. Your side can be wrong. And they have been wrong about everything from 26th of July, 2021. Everything. The same side that tells you, let's criticize Nigeria is the same side that you let's embrace Philip Martinez, and joke. The irony. You're embracing a fraudster, a conman, a con artist, a man who was jailed in 2 continents. You all want to give him a diplomatic passport and bestow citizenship upon him. But the Nigerian president you want to reject and you say he's corrupt. I mean, come on, think. You're not thinking. Anyway, let's go to Jaquan. People certainly do not understand diplomacy. We have a foreign officer, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, call them. Conferring a national award on a foreign leader, particularly a head of state or government, is standard diplomatic practice to enhance the relations between countries. In this case, it sets off the relations on an even better footing, given the promise of deep cooperation with Nigeria and St. Lucia, and having the head of state receiving a St. Lucia national honor means that St. Lucia will always be dear to that president. So it is not a matter of what Tinubu has done, but what he will do. But even if he does nothing, the act of awarding a national honor to the head of state of the African country from which our enslaved forefathers came is a powerful symbol, a reminder of recognition of our links to Africa, our blackness, and our mental emancipation from colonialism, which, by the way, did not have a conscience. Modi will be receiving a top honor, the highest honor, in Trinidad tomorrow. He lands tomorrow, partial shutdown of the... Boy, you could have imagined if we had shut down the country. Oh my word, oh my word, oh my word, oh my word. If the country was shut down on Saturday, we will not hear the last of it. But in Trinidad are more enlightened. I don't want to say that, not that we're backward. I mean, we have a few foolish people in our midst, yes. But Trinidad, they're shutting down the country, partial shutdown tomorrow. And Brother Moody will be receiving the highest honor that can be bestowed upon a head of state, as we have done with His Excellency Tinubu. And people made that seem as though that was such a corrupt thing, such wrong, and we don't know what we're doing. Again, flabos, I mean, real issues, people, I know you know, so I don't have to convince you. But flabos, and those of you on this, in the middle, to not just rush to believe and to act upon what your site says. Do your research, ask questions, and do not go on Facebook and express your ignorance. Don't do that. Clarify things for yourself. Make calls. Talk to people who may know. You understand? You have people like Dr. Fletcher, all this thing, Covbud DJ on different things. Talk to people. Find out. And then from having all the information, you come to, you make your own, your conclusion. And then you speak with some authority, some knowledge. But don't just arrogantly display your ignorance for the world to see. That is not kosher. Shelton, I think we have to make up for yesterday. We can open the lines if you so desire.
Okay.
Because we have other things to play. I have a lot of clips, but today, no. Let us do that, and by next week we can do more of the showing of the clips.
All right. Just a couple of messages that I just wanted to highlight. By the way, the one UWP seat that I couldn't remember in the 5 that they won in '79 on July the 2nd, by the way, was Ferdinand Henry of Denry North.
Yeah.
Okay, so the 5 would have been Ferdinand Henry for Denry North, George Mallet, the Central Castries, John Compton for Miku South, Rodney Jean-Baptiste for Miku North, and Alan Bousquet for Castries Northwest, Babono, subsequently renamed Babono. So I couldn't remember Ferdinand Henry at the time.
Right.
A couple of messages which have come. There's actually a guy driving around in a vehicle with an exhaust tuned so that it sounds like gunfire.
Yes, I heard that.
I've heard that a lot. Some young men who are passing in a neighborhood densely populated with motorcycles, revving them continuously. And I wonder if they realize neighborhoods like San Souci, there are a lot of elderly, retired people who, in their homes, they long for a little peace, a little quiet and so on. But, there's a kind of selfishness that's taking place in the country that once it's gratifying to me, once it feels good, then to hell with everybody else, so I can pass blasting my music. There's gratification, of course, the show of value of it. So nobody else matters and so on. That's part of what's happening. Another message says, whereas your analysis is valid, I must disagree. Times change and so does situations. PJP is considered the most transitional PM ever and so can influence situational changes. My analysis shows me that SLP will retain all the 6 seats they held prior to the last election. The 2 independent candidates will win by large margins. That makes it 8 sure seats. You mean Labour cannot pull one out of the remaining 9 to form the next government? I never said so, my friend. I never said so. I never dealt with any 6 seats or 8 seats or anything. All I was saying that there are 2 bellwether constituencies that history is heavily on the side of whoever wins them wins the election. So let us make sure, whatever else we do, that those 2 seats, if there are any issues that can imperil us, that we take good care of them and that we settle them and so on, And I also mentioned that one of the exceptions to his party losing an election but he winning the seat was Guy Joseph. That's the most recent one. The one before that was a long time ago in 79 to 82 where Alan Bousquet won Babono despite UWP losing the election. But Guy Joseph, just in 2011, UWP lost the election but he still held on to that seat and so on. And even when he loses, watch the guy on the campaign trail and all. This is a formidable politician. I'm saying don't take any chances. Make sure you have all loose ends tied up and so on. This is the point I was making. Good afternoon. The young lady is taking and the pictures of what she's talking about in Africa. Why the viewers cannot see? I'm not sure about that. Good afternoon, S&T. Are you talking about giving people space? About 2 months ago, I was walking on the Derek Walcott Square, and a police officer was walking so close to me from behind that when I was fixing my bag on left-hand side that I almost hit the officer in his face, pal. I jumped so much, my heart started beating so fast. It's not because it was a police officer, but he was so close to me. This kind of thing. I don't know why it's happening. Like I said, if I was like that, COVID made me think differently. I don't want to be questioning anybody and up close in anybody and so on, especially since the COVID pandemic. Like it gave me a habit, it gave me practice, it gave me the conditioning that I don't want to be, stick up on anybody, too much and so on. And I don't want anybody sticking up on me.
Let me clarify something, Shelton. Somebody says I need to be specific as to which Dr. Fletcher I'm speaking about. I know there are two, but I did say the one who is a critical thinker and very cerebral. So that can only be pointing to Dr. Jimmy Fletcher.
There's another G Fletcher that they thought you might be talking about.
Maybe, but I was talking about the one who is very cerebral,
okay.
very cogent, very lucid in his thinking, a critical thinker,
So-
a statesman.
so
It can only be Dr. Jimmy
Are you
Fletcher.
suggesting that the other one is very visceral? One is cerebral, the other is visceral. All right. Another person says, very sobering analysis of political and election trends. Hope the issues in those seats can be speedily resolved. We cannot afford going back. Thank you very much for that message. All right. Jaquan, the lines, we can open them. 487-9849. Anybody wants to call? We still have 5 minutes to go before the break. 487-9849. 758-487-9849. Mobile number on which you can WhatsApp call us. Okay?
Yeah.
You can WhatsApp call us. And you can use the landline, which is 4533-911, our local landline. Now, if you want to send text messages, because a couple of the messages that I read there, they came through our on-air WhatsApp text message board, you can go to realfmofficial.com and there is a link that you can send WhatsApp messages. It will come to us in real time, live on air, our message board. And you can also find that same link on mbcslu.com. We have a call on the line. Real Issues, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello. Hello.
One second. Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen.
Yeah, hi, how are you doing?
Good afternoon, viewers and listeners. I'm good. I just noticed, I sent you a message, Shelton. I was just telling you that Central is also an anomaly if we're looking back at trends.
Sorry?
Central was also an anomaly if we're looking back at trends as well. Remember in 2011, Richard won as well as an opposition candidate.
In 2011.
2011. But generally, Central has always also determined who won the election until 2011.
Okay.
When Richard won. That was just I was just noting that as you spoke.
So which one you saying is the anomaly?
No, I said Central. You mentioned Barbano and Katri Southeast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who have these two seats that always generally indicated who won the election.
Mm.
Right, but Central is also one of those anomalies as well, where Richard won in opposition.
Okay, I get you.
You remember you mentioned Guy, and yes, but Central
I
was
get you.
in 2011.
I get you.
Yeah, but generally, and as in that trend, let me just say as well, generally whoever's won the Grosley seat as well, generally has captured the election. If you check generally, if the history of Grosley, except when Julian Hunt was there, but in our recent, let's say the last 25 years of elections, if you look at our recent election history, particularly in the time of the one-term governments, we've seen that the Grosley seat and Grosley, for the most part, has dictated who won the election.
Okay, Richard has another record too, eh? I mean,
First independent.
First independent, and he's also only the second non-UWP person to win that seat. I mean, that seat has been...
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Sarah Flood won it for 2 terms for the Labour Party, and she won it for 1 term again as the UWP
As
person.
UWP,
Richard
that is
won it
true.
for UWP.
That is
So
true.
Richard and Sarah are the only 2 non-UWP people to have ever won that seat. That has been an overwhelmingly UWP seat. Especially by Sarah winning that seat in it's
But it ain't going to
shocked a
happen
lot of
again.
people,
Anyway,
eh?
gentlemen, just wanted to just add that little historical.
Yeah. Thank you very
you.
much.
All right,
Yeah.
no problems. All right, bye-bye.
All right. Do we have any other callers on the line? All right, Terry. What we'll do? We'll go for a
the
final
break.
commercial break, and when we
Yes.
come back, like I said, it's up to you to
Yes,
decide
yeah,
if you continue with the
maybe,
calls and continue taking messages.
problem.
Real Issues is on. Don't go away.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
McDowell Supplements, an effective way to ensure you and your loved ones are getting the daily recommended intake of essential vitamins, minerals, and other important nutrients necessary for optimal health. Naturally, we carry an array of health and wellness supplements. McDowell's Immune Booster enhances your body's defense to fight colds and flu, boosts your immune system, prevents viruses and other airborne diseases. McDowell's Colon Cleanser prevents constipation, helps in removing toxins from the colon, detoxifies the body, and regulates your bowel movements. McDowell's Prostate Health prevent the enlargement of the prostate, improve urinary flow, and reduce frequent urination, especially at night. Moringa oleifera capsules are rich in minerals like calcium, potassium, zinc, magnesium, iron, and copper, vitamins like beta-carotene of vitamin A, vitamin B such as folic acid, vitamin C, D, and E. McDowell's Potassium Complex, used for treating and preventing low potassium levels, high blood pressure, preventing stroke, and aid in weight loss. McDowell's Triple Magnesium relaxes the muscles, relieves cramps and helps to control high blood pressure, improves sleep, and can calm the nerves. Magnesium is very important for the normal functioning of cells, nerves, muscles, bones, and the heart. McDowell's Ginger Turmeric helps to relieve pain, decrease nausea and enhance the immune function to help protect against illness and infection. Ginger turmeric has powerful anti-inflammatory properties and improves your circulation. Don't hold health back. Let health strike back. McDowell's, the better way to start your health. Visit Health Service Center, John Compton Highway, call 453-6417. Let your wellness be our stress.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with The Real Issues on this Wednesday, July the 2nd, 2025, with me, Shelton Daniel, accompanied by Terry Fenelon. Don't forget the telephone lines are open for your calls. We've been reading your messages, and I'll be reading some more of them. 758-487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us on that number, and the local landline 4533-911. Terry?
Before we take the call, let me say how oh my word.
Once you open the lines are open.
Yes,
Hi, caller, you're on the air. Real Issues, go ahead.
Yes, gentlemen, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Let me tell you, guys, what had me to be so impressed with the visit from the Nigerian president.
Yeah.
was when the Madam President of the Senate, Albina Reynolds, read that with respect to slavery and locations, and she said that over 38% of the slaves that left Africa landed in St. Lucia. Shelton, I got cold feet, really. I developed a sweat. I said, look, this is the way it is. 38% of people that left Africa as slaves landed in St. Lucia. Now, just speculating, we don't even know if that gentleman is our cousin. You know?
Yes.
We don't know because we have lost this identity of ours. We have lost our roots. And this gentleman who has so many places to go, so many things to do, this great ambassador of the African continent came to our little rock, 238 square miles, and we're running our butt. We're talking crap. You know, Nigeria have over 300 million people. This guy has no shortage of people to deal with.
Yes.
Okay? What do we have? We have gold, we have oil, we have shit except a few banana trees and a few white people that comes to this country to make a little change so we could survive. And instead we are so happy. Anyway, I've said one thing, Sheldon. I've said one thing. It's high time Labour Party stop chasing flies on excrete because these people have nothing to talk about. And every time they open their mouth, it stinks. I need to say this, in my humble opinion, was one of the greatest visits of all time. And I do hope that continue. And the gentleman came with a package of gifts in terms of scholarships.
That's right.
To our students. What did Prince Charles brought again last time he came here? Is it Charles or Harry? Which one? The one that came here, the one Charles had allowed to turn the soil in the
Prince Harry.
You fought
Prince
Harry. What he came with? Did he give anything? Did Bill Clinton give anything? This gentleman is so courteous, man. The man gave a scholarship for our student, for our young people to want to study in the motherland Africa. Sheldon, if it is one thing I wish to do before I die is go to Africa. To touch that soil, especially in Nigeria. Learning what I learned, the 38% of slaves that left Africa to here, I am even more eager to touch that soil and kiss it and say, this president, in my humble opinion, he should, in the near future, plan another thing again. And I think he's going to get a different mindset. Well, you know, like I said, a fly is a fly, excrete are excrete. And I don't know what difference is going to be. But I just happy. I'm very elated this guy choose to come in that little rock of ours and give us his present. Mr. President, in my humble opinion, you are most welcome again to do that again.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, my brother.
All right, we continue taking your calls. 487-9849, the line on which you can WhatsApp call us.
Okay, let me just see.
On 4533911. Go ahead, Terry.
Yeah, let me just say how proud I am of real issues people on the live. There's a troll there, beating up herself, quarreling with everybody. And you have largely ignored her. So I'm very happy. Let's remain, you know what our Prime Minister, we have to be laser focused on the positive. We're not going to allow anybody to cause us to deviate from that path. We are focused on the prize. And we will not be distracted at all.
All right, we have another call on the line. Let's take that call. Hi, good afternoon. Real Issues.
Hi, good afternoon, Shelton. How are you doing?
Doing great, and you?
I am calling from Canada, and I feel that the president from Nigeria comes to St. Lucia. It was a great honor.
Yes.
And we appreciate that. And you know what? I see some people online just strapping their mouths like they're catching flies. A couple of days ago, the king came to Canada, and the place was shut down. The place was shut down in Canada, exactly shut down. you know. And I seen some people just like spring garbage out of their mouth, spring garbage. What is the problem that I come to St. Lucia? What is the problem with it? And you know, I'm looking at the Timothy Polly on your screen with that dog showing stupidness. You understand? It's like a we solution. We're not coming up from the box. We're thinking only in the box. We have to think out of the box. We have to think around the box. And we're not looking at the future. We are not looking at our kids, our future prime minister, our prime minister doctors, our future doctors, our future nurses. Honestly, Shelton, it is high time we solution think out of the box.
All right, thank you very much, caller. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have another caller on the line? Hi, caller. Good afternoon. Real Issues. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Shelton.
Good afternoon to you.
How are you doing, Shelton?
I'm doing great, and you?
Malarman. Hi, Terry.
Hi. Good day. How are you?
Malarman. Let me tell you guys something. I don't know why I am allowing myself to be surprised by what is emanating from the supposed brain of these people on the other side. And like a former politician said this morning, I am extremely surprised at the two supposed diplomats who have just joined the ranks of that side. I was expecting them as diplomats, of people who have worked outside of this country, to understand, right, the significance of that visit by an African leader to St. Lucia. The benefits far outweigh, right, anything that they can come up with. How you feel you're going to read a missive from your leader when you should sit him down and say to him, Mr. Political Leader, supposing it was us in power, supposing we to get in power, we may need to get assistance from this leader, and he may very well remember how we treated him back then. And everybody just jumping on something for significance, for relevance, not recognizing how dumb they are. According to this scholar before me, we need to think outside the box. But there's no you can think outside the box if the box is crippling your brain. Not possible. Shelton, Terry, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Thanks a lot. 487-9849 and 4533911. Don't forget you can send WhatsApp text messages to us by going to realfmofficial.com. You'll see the messaging link there, as well as mbcslu.com. We have someone on the line. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, you're on the air. You have to turn on the radio now, or whatever you're listening to us on now that you've gotten the line.
Yes. Hello, Sheldon.
Yes, we're there.
Yeah, we're hearing you. We're answering you.
Yes, Sheldon and your guest. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sheldon, something that bothers me a lot with this visit from the Nigerian president. We need to educate those that are not educated, those that have not been following the international arena. We need to be understanding as to what do we have. Can we sustain what we have? The thing we had going once upon a time was bananas. That has left us. So whatever we get, we should appreciate. And we need to know the bottom line. Whatever opinion you have of anybody, that's your opinion. Keep it. I will tell you, Nigeria is one of the tops in terms of education through any part of the world. There is a university called the University of Ibadan. That is tops with could match any English university, any American university. And I will tell you the history of two people that I know personally, two medical doctors that studied at Ibadan. My brother, Ulrich Mondesi, started his medical education from Ibadan, and they turned out to be very good doctors. We have Alexander. His father was Chief Justice soon after the independence of Nigeria. He was one of the top guys, surgeons, at the Biafran War. Presently, he is one of the top, the best in the world, not the best in Canada, the best in the world performing hernia surgery. I had a hernia, which he did. He has his own technique, and he heads a hospital in Toronto that only does hernia, and people from around the world come in there. And he is a Nigerian educated doctor. So we got to know, I was very pleased when I heard the gift of scholarship. Today, we have to be realistic. The cost of education overseas now is very, very, very high. The average American leaves with an ordinary degree with $250,000, averaging $250,000 US dollars indebted. So the people, especially if there is any politician that has not done his homework and is going up for elections presently and criticizing that, he should be rejected outright from the people of St. Lucia, because he has no good intention for St. Lucia other than himself. It is a very, very defined thing that he is going in there, if he ever gets in there, for his own self and not the people of St. Lucia. We must, you, your guest, myself, and all concerned citizens in St. Lucia that are for the prosperity and the development of St. Lucia, should encourage this kind of thing anywhere we are. Not only that, for investment, Nigeria has some big millionaires and billionaires. Okay? Nigeria has some big millionaires and billionaires. Look, Liat is a Nigerian company that is part owner or sole owner. You should correct me if I'm wrong on that. So we need to encourage. We don't have nothing. We don't have oil. We don't have gold. We only have fish in the sea. Everybody has fish. So the people that are criticizing the little gift, they are not pure St. Lucians. They should be re-examined. And if it's any one of them, I repeat, if any one of them is owing for politics, they should be discarded outright.
That's right.
Because they are not going there for the benefit of St. Lucia. They're going there to help themselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we continue taking your calls on 487-9849. You can WhatsApp call us there, 758-487-9849. And on the landline, 4533-911. You can send us WhatsApp text messages by going to realfmofficial.com. See the messaging link there, as well as mbcslu.com. The telephone is wrong again. Someone's on the line. Go ahead, caller.
Yes.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you and your guest?
Hey, what's up?
I don't know how solutions can expect anything good from Alan Shafi. The Prime Minister's official residence in Fiji, Sir John lived in it for about 20-something years. All the other Prime Ministers that came after him didn't see anything wrong with the building. As Shafi come in, you know what he did? He uncovered a section of the building, and whenever they have functions, he's putting a tent inside of it. Which right-thinking person that will take out a roof on a building and leave the four walls there and put a tent inside of it when they have functions? And when it rains, the tiles get slippery, somebody can fall and break their leg, the arm. So all the fellows are following that man, and he himself. Them fellows just need to give them a boat without engine and just send them fishing. If they come back, they come back. Because them fellows have no brains. I don't know if they're sitting on their brains or if they spread their brains with chromosome or something and kill all the cells that are thinking right in them fellows' brains. Them fellows I just don't know. And like them, if St. Lucian ever vote the UWP government in power under, remember I said under the leadership of Alan Chasse, I don't think there is a God. Because people say God is the one that has a hand in everything that happened, whether in elections, in everything he allows. If God allows Alan Chasse to run this legal country, St. Lucia, again, I finish with church. There's not a God. Thank you.
No. That's too extreme, my friend.
Yeah.
That's too extreme.
Yeah, I got
No, my friend. Take my advice. If this is God you're talking about, be a little more reverent, and don't go into the zone of blasphemy because of politics. Okay?
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, don't
but
do that.
Why? I don't think God loves us and God loves our country, and I don't think God will ever allow Alan Chasse to be the leader of this country again.
Okay, my friend. So. Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Sheldon, I wanted to share. Do you have a call? Yeah. I wanted to share. As I told you, on mornings we swim, a group of us. Oh my word.
Yeah, Terry. Once you see anything to say it before the lines are open, because the line will stay idle as soon as you start saying something. Real issues. You're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello. Yes. Good afternoon. Nice program as usual.
Thank you.
I just wanted to endorse the sentiment by Mr. Dr. Mondesi in respect of the scholarships. I think that's a very, very good gesture on the part of the president. And I just want to confirm that the University of Ibadan is a very, 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 very good university. It started around the same time as the UWI. And in fact, the medical schools and the school in agriculture, which I attended at UWI, is similar to that of Ibadan. In fact, we virtually did the same examinations initially because it was affiliated to the University of London. Both UCWI and Ibadan were part of the University of London, and then afterwards they became independent. So very, very, very top-class universities in Nigeria, and when our people go there, they will be very well taken care of. I also want to confirm that the Alexander boys went to Ibadan. Dr. Alexander, that is the son of Darnley Alexander, who was both of them were Sumerians. Darnley Alexander, in fact, had the 440-yard record, which stood for about 30 years. And it was eventually broken after a very long time. So he was also a very, very good athlete. And his son right now is, in fact, one of the chief doctors. He went to the University of Ibadan as well. He served in the army during the Biafra War. And also he's now in Canada. He's married to St. Lucian, one of the husband's girls. And he's a very powerful surgeon in hernias. In fact, he's probably one of the best in the world. So we have a very good connection with Ibadan. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Thank you. Okay. Terry, you were going to say something? I don't know if you have time to say.
This morning I'm one of the residents of Armandale. What? I told you a while ago, we should just, life is short. Let's pronounce the L in Almond, man. Armandale. This kind of thing, man. Pronounce the L.
Are you saying you're challenged to omit the L?
Yeah, I'm challenged, man. I have this speech impediment, People don't know that. Sometimes I have words that I don't pronounce very well. I know the words, but, I have that kind of cleft palate. Okay. And in the waters, we were talking because, Shelton, we have a nice community of real issues people. Oh, my God. I think I'll do that tomorrow.
Real issues, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon
to you.
Hi, Mr. Daniel and Mr. Salerno. How are you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, I just wish to add, on the line of medical with regards to the Nigerian president,
yes,
that if I am to confirm, I have been seeing doctors in Martinique, and one of the top optical centers in Martinique are run by Nigerians, and I can confirm that because I saw one in April. I had 2 surgeries done in Martinique at Lamina. African doctors. 80% of the doctors currently at the Lamina Hospital are Africans, Nigerians, Ghanaians, name it. They are actually controlling the hospitals now in Martinique. So I think we, St. Lucians, like the callers have said in the past, really need to think outside the box and stop keeping ourselves in this small, minded perception, of our own people, our generations, and of course, what we can actually get and gain from those collaborations within the current government and for the people of our country, St. Lucia. That is the contribution that I wish to make.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Terry, you want to give it a shot again? As soon as you start the call, we'll come in.
You think so? I think I'll have that preamble tomorrow,
Yeah, right,
no,
right.
but one of my friends, you're talking about your good friend, Stephen Frivry, who went canvassing in Armandale, man. And he was there for team, and the residents there had a day with him and asked him a few questions. First of all, they say, how could somebody as credentialed as you, seemingly intelligent, as you, work on the Shasney and Guy Joseph? His response was, I said, don't go there, let's not go there. I mean, Mr. Frivry, you know better, man. You bowing, you kowtowing, you took the oath to submit. So when people question you on that, you're embarrassed. You tell fellas, no, let's not go there today and stuff. But you have to answer the people. You're a bright fellow. Well, supposedly, I ain't sure. You have not shown me your intelligence yet. But, you're going to work on the Shasnian guy, and you could not answer the residents. Then they ask you a question. With all the gains made under this administration, if PJP, Mr. Pierre, pensioners, children, laptops and stuff, are you going to do it? Are you going to continue and improve upon it? You all said yes. And when they ask you, how are you going to finance it? Because the people are not stupid. The people heard from the former Prime Minister, the country is broke. And he was saying that in 2017, the country is broke. And COVID made it worse. The country is broke. I mean, this is admission of total failure, by a Minister of Finance. You have nothing was happening between 2016, 2017, 2018, and you're on TV crying like a shinya. The country is broke. COVID made it worse. We have no money. So when they ask you, how are you going to finance it? They said they were in shock. You said you're going to use CIP. The same CIP you, Martinez and Rijok, are trying to destroy because you all say it's corrupt. But you all want to get a hold of CIP money so that you could do things. You think people stupid or what? So they tell you they had to dismiss you, and they ask you another question about, come on, man, what is your take on the vaccine money? The vaccine, when are we going to get it? You couldn't answer. What about the Pajor letters? Because you came here claiming that you are not following things in your country. Corruption. You don't want to accuse the Nigerian. The corruption. And I have some of the letters, that you all wrote to St. Jude. I'm not going to show it today. I'm going to show it on Monday. You know what I mean? Vague. $53 million in direct awards. Saying nothing. So you don't see there's Coco Macacri. And you want to talk about people being corrupt and stuff. You're talking about false equivalency with Moody. Moody has been accused of all kinds of things under the sun, including human rights violations. But Trinidad is bestowing upon him a national honor. And you want to say false equivalency? Man, so let me go back to you. I'm Frivry, a man who comes there on a false pretense. You want to pray that you are sin, but you are devil in disguise. Oh, you don't know what happened to the vaccine money? You cannot give an account of the vaccine money? Your leader, the one that you're following, who took our money and gave it away to his family friends. You had no answer to the people at Armandale. And they looked at you, you were ashamed because you wanted to just run out of there because the questions were coming hard and fast and furious. You understand? I asked you about the Pajor letters. Man, the Pajor letter is one of the worst things that have ever happened to St. Lucia, That is a man who is not a Minister of Finance, who is sending a guy who knows nothing about money to go and source money, $176 million, bypassing the parliament and the consolidated fund. So if the Answer Bank had given that money, where would that have been deposited? In what account would that have been deposited? You have to answer for that.
159, Terry.
159, okay. I'm on J. Folks, I'm going to the funeral service of my the father of my good friend. You all eat the pudding and the pork on a Saturday at Mount Sepa. It made me a little subdued because we are very close, very, very close. We're almost like brothers. So that made me a little subdued today. But don't worry, all the clips will be played. And going now. So we'll see you on Monday.
25 World, Double Daily Grand, 3, 11, 12, 14. Big 4, 3, 0, 4, 9. The Big 4 Multi-X ball drawn is 3X. Pick 2, 0, 1. The Pick 2 Multi-X ball drawn is 5X. 1 off, 2, 1, 6. Lucky 3, 5, 5, 3. The Lucky 3 Multi-X ball drawn is 2X.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with big issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, anytime, to your specifications. But the best part is, we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the Vendors Arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues. 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, anytime, to your specifications. But the best part is, we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the vendors arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the vendors arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Another hurricane season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the vendors arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the vendors arcade? The arcade will continue to be operated and managed by the Castries Constituency Council, who will have full responsibility for the rental and maintenance of the space. How will construction of the vendors arcade be managed? A phased approach will be employed to minimize disruption to daily operations. After the completion of each phase, vendors will be relocated from the former arcade, and this will continue until completion of the new facility. St. Lucia Cruise Port, investing in people.
The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM. The man, the voice. Your hero is back. Raw facts, no fluff. Shelton Daniel is here to deal with the issues. Real issues, 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday on Real FM.
Election season is upon us. Make this year different. Equip yourself with a backup power generator from JH Launchers Electric. We can source and supply any size, any type to your specifications. But the best part is we stock generators. No more long waiting and delays for your home unit. We proudly stock from 2,000 watts all the way to 26,000 watts gas and diesel generators. Automatic and manual transfer switches are also in stock. Visit JH Launchers Electrics today.
What is the vision for the Vendors Arcade? To provide a world-class shopping environment where local goods and services can be provided and experienced by locals and visitors. Why is this redevelopment necessary? The renovations and expansions will revitalize the infrastructure and enhance the shopping experience for vendors, locals, and visitors. Who will be responsible for the Vendors Arcade? The arcade will